What's going on, people, man? You're tuning into episode 11 of the It's Not Easy podcast, man. We've got some new faces in the building. We've got Habiba and Cremilda. How you guys doing?
Hi.
Good, thank you. Can I chew on this podcast? Because I was chewing.
Yeah, of course.
And I stopped because I was like, wait, is it going to sound red?
Don't choke.
Okay.
Good flow. Oh, how you guys been, though? How's your week's been?
Good. It's been quite chill this week. It's obviously very cold. Very cold. How about you?
Me. If I'm honest, like the like cold has been battering me like on the journeys into work.
Yeah.
It's really been getting me, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I
train
work
journeys.
from home.
Okay.
So I have to force myself to leave to go on a walk because I'm so comfy.
It's been battering me, man, honestly.
Yeah.
But how's it for you?
Guys, do you know what? It's because I used to work 2 days in the office and it was all right. But now they've increased it to 3 and I'm...
Oh, really?
Yeah, 3. It hurt. And everyone's always like to me, oh, you're so dramatic. It's only 1 extra day. But like... basically when you do 2 days a week, you have the majority of your time to like figure out what you're doing, whatever.
Yeah.
When it's 3 days, now it's like half and half.
Yeah.
And it just feels aggressive.
Do they tell you what days to come in?
No, thank God. But obviously
Okay.
no one's gonna come in on a Friday.
Yeah.
So then that limits you to Monday to Thursday.
Yeah, so it's
And
like
like,
No one's really doing Monday either. So it's always Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
that's the thing. Like with me, with like the work from home thing, I kind of like the balance of 2. I think 3 is a bit pushing me a bit too far beyond the edge.
That's what I
You're
said.
pushing me a bit far. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think I'm 2 a bit cool, but overall, the week's so cool.
Yeah, man. Good.
How have you guys found the start to the year though?
You know what? This has been the best start of the year ever for me.
I swear.
In terms of like, I've actually stuck to everything that I've done so far.
Okay.
But you know why? But I think she's like,
No, do you know what it is? Because my story's different.
but you know why? I was very intentional about what I wanted to do this year, and I think I think the plan is, or like the aim should be to start from December. So I started my year from December because
I
I
hear a
think
lot of that, actually.
everyone goes in
That's a
January
good
and they're like,
shout.
oh, I'm a new person, but it's like, no. So I've actually just like, also I work from home, so a lot of the things I want to do, it's just like it's easy for me to do. So in terms of like working out and stuff,
Yeah.
I feel like going to the gym when you are in the office, you've got to pick 2 days where you're not going in because it's just like hard and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas like for me, I'm like, I just wake up and go.
See, yeah, I think that's what's throwing me off. I think where I'm doing 3 days a week, I'm like, oh, I don't know whether to change my gym membership to near my workplace or to
Yeah.
keep it to next to my house.
Yeah.
And then when to that, whereas when I was doing 2 days, it was easier for me to be like, okay, cool. I'm going to keep it next to my house. 3
Yeah.
days I'm going to do at home. And then the other 2 I'll just like chill. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. How do you guys like in terms of when you're approaching a new year? Are you guys like big on setting yearly goals?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did my vision board, boys.
Yeah,
I did my
yeah.
vision
You
board.
have
Like,
to.
I'm very, very big on stuff like that. Like, yeah, I've always but the thing is, I say they're intentions, not goals, because if you look at the goals that I had last year towards June, I said, baby, it's
Yeah.
ain't gonna happen.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna happen. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's good to have intentions. So I wrote down, I think 12 for the year. So like one for like every month, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I changed my approach a little bit this year.
Okay.
Because what I used to do is every year I'd do like, oh yeah, my New Year's resolutions, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. But now I've done, so I'm turning 28 this year.
Ooh, nice.
So I did 28 things I want to do before I'm 28.
I love that.
Instead of
cute.
doing like
Yeah.
That's quite
every
nice.
January.
Yeah.
So it's alleviated the pressure. But what I will say is, you know, normally January 1st, you have new gym clothes.
Yeah.
You're in the gym.
Yeah.
I didn't do all of that.
But I don't
So-
think that's bad because also I'm like a very big perfectionist, and in therapy my therapist was like, you need to set your goals so low because you're reaching too high. So for me, what I've learned is that like I'm not someone who can go cold turkey. I have to build into a habit. So
fair.
for me, I've said like I want to work out more. So I said by June I'd like to have 3 different types of exercises or go to the gym or whatever three times. So my goal for this month was literally to work out once a week, which is such an easy goal.
Yeah.
And then next month will be twice a week, and it's just like you build up like
Yeah.
that,
Momentum.
rather
That's quite interesting.
than being like I'm gonna work out 5 times a week because
True.
you've never done that before.
Yeah.
Do you know what? One of my friends, she saw this video on Instagram and it was saying that you need to split up your goals in quarters.
Yes.
So rather than doing
I see
it from
that.
like January to December, like do it in quarters. And she said that's
Yeah.
really been helping her. So
It actually makes a lot of sense.
it does.
Because how I do it, yeah. So like I kind of I split my goals in like all different areas of my life. So obviously you have one in terms of like finances, like career and family and relationships and so on and so forth, and even like friendships as well. And then like I kind of split up in all these areas, and I have like certain goals in each one of like
Yeah.
so, like I guess essentially what I want to achieve like in that area of my life, and then I kind of just like work through it throughout
I'm
the year.
the same. So I had I put different sections. So I just
Yeah.
like career, finances, family.
Yeah.
Same.
Didn't do relationships. God will take care of that. I'm not.
You know what? Like, you have to just let him take
I'm
the
not
wheel.
gonna do that.
Let him take the wheel.
But yeah, I just put it in different things, and then I kind of see where I can be and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I said like 2024. I'm Delulu.
yeah.
That's all you can be.
Delulu the Salulu.
Delulu is the Delulu.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, you're not a TikTok boy, are you?
No,
Not really.
not.
Delulu is basically it means delusion.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So the Salulu means solution.
So, yeah,
It's a
delusion is the solution.
Okay, so if you don't know, you don't care, and that's life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got to be delusional, bro.
Fair play. That's interesting though. I think 2024. It's about 20 days in now. I think it's been cool so far. We're growing, we're building.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, we're growing, we're building. I did want to get into. So of course, during last year, you went freelance.
Yeah.
I did want to speak about that. So like, why or like what kind of pushed you to make that jump or that move into the
Freelancing.
the freelance world?
I feel like there were so many reasons, but I think the first one was I already knew that I wanted to change jobs when I got to the 2-year mark anyway, whether or not I had a job or something else.
Okay.
But I feel like, so I don't think a lot of people know this, but staff writers and a lot of journalists, some of them write 5 to 8 stories a day.
Okay.
I was writing 5 stories a day. I said, there's no way I'm doing this again. So I was writing 25 stories a week.
That is
I was
crazy.
like, and it got to the point where like I stopped. I couldn't remember things. I said, I'm writing so much a day. I said, I just want more of like a switch up, basically. So yeah.
So is it do you find now that like you have kind of more flexibility with the types of thing you write about and the amount you write now, or is it still quite heavy?
No, yeah, it's definitely the thing with freelancing is that you have periods where it's like so much, and then periods where very chill. So when I came out, it was like bam, 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 very, very fast, and towards the end of the year, it slows down like everyone else.
Yeah.
And then January we're still kind of picking up. So
Yeah.
it kind of depends, basically.
On the like the agenda, I guess, really.
Yeah, exactly.
What's happening? I did want to ask this. So of course, you've written for like a lot of huge titles in the UK. I did want to ask, like, how do you kind of get into journalism, and what kind of pushed you into that pathway?
I love this question.
Oh, I'm so invested.
So actually, before I wanted to be a journalist, I wanted to be an actress. But that was only because I was a dramatic child. So why
Gotta channel
not?
the energy somewhere.
Literally. But in sixth form, I studied communications, which is basically like media, like sociology and media, and we spoke a lot about like post-colonial theory. So basically, that is looking at the way that Black people are represented in the media after slavery.
Okay.
So it was literally all negative, as you presume. And I was like, you know what? I want to try and change this, basically. So I didn't know there and then I wanted to be a journalist. I knew I wanted to work in the media. So I went to uni, studied media, but then I was head of news at my TV station, but also writer of the magazine. So it was between TV and writing.
Oh, yeah.
And then I just stuck with writing. And then I did all the unpaid internships. I worked at the council at one point. I worked in marketing. And then eventually I just got my role.
Yeah,
So,
and it's
yeah.
built from there. Yeah. It's quite interesting. So, like, you know, the element of like internships, and of course, when a lot of them are unpaid as well. For someone who wanted to get into the industry, would you still say that's kind of the way to go? Like, just get your foot through the door, even if it's unpaid, just get going and see where it goes.
I would never say that anyone should take an unpaid internship, but I would say that I can see how my career has differed between people that didn't do that, because when you work in a newsroom, you actually see editors face to face, and they know you, and you know what stories you can pitch to them, and they'll always remember you.
Yeah.
So there's so many people that I am still in contact with from those unpaid internships.
Yeah.
So
Invaluable, really.
Yeah.
Just being in their faces. Yeah. Now, that's quite interesting. So, of course, and then you it built from there. How did the opportunity Huffpost come about?
So essentially, during the pandemic, sorry, I was about to say Panny D. That's not called the pandemic. During the pandemic, basically, I just started pitching to Huffpost, like articles and stuff, and then the role came about. And because I'd already worked with the editor before, I think that gave me a leg up.
That all helps, yeah.
So yeah, I applied. It was 4 stages. It was brutal. Like towards the end, I said, "Please, I'm on my knees."
That's quite interesting. So with journalism, like the recruitment processes. How is that usually like? Is it quite rigorous? I guess it depends on the
It never
publication.
used to be, but now it is. So basically, the first stage was the manager and like the other person I'll be working with, and the second stage were 2 other people in the company, and the third stage is writing stage. It's always writing stage, and the fourth stage was with the editor in chief.
So until that went well, and then you start growing and building from there.
Yeah, so I was there for 2 years basically.
Yeah. I remember during our PR day, you still try to get through to you, man.
Always.
I'm sorry.
Nah, do you know what? I got bone to pick with you.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Nah, it happens. Yeah, like
Nah,
so.
it happens.
And obviously, I always hear like a lot of journalists speak about the like amount of emails they get a day. Like, how bad like can it really get?
When I left, I was on 9,000 emails.
9,000.
Yes, I got 150 emails a day. So that's why you're like, I'm a bridge. I didn't see the email.
Do you know what? I still
so
use you as a
mental.
warm lead anyway. Yeah, to the client, we've got a warm lead.
Yeah. Oh my god, all the
Please do
time.
it. Please do. But no, seriously, you don't know how many times I've heard that. We're like, oh, I've been trying to email you. I'm like, bruv, I've probably seen it, but I just... And also you have to imagine the amount of emails, the amount of articles I'm writing, I just don't
It's
have
just
the
too
time.
much,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's too
And then
much.
did a lot of people call you as well?
That one I nipped in the bud. There's no
Yeah.
way you're gonna like. There's absolutely no way. Someone tries to call me at 6 o'clock. I said, "You out of your bloody mind."
AM?
That's mental.
PM.
Oh, PM. That's
Yeah,
still
but
bad.
I'm going out.
Not okay. It's after working hours.
No. And also, I think the reason why it's bad is because I don't have a work phone. This is my personal.
Oh,
phone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and
That's the thing.
And
yeah.
that's why, like, this is the first time. So I deactivated my Twitter, and I'm off Instagram for like the month of January.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've been able to deactivate in 2 years. I've always been online.
You have to be in it, yeah.
Yeah, because I have to be, and it really shifts your relationship with the internet
It
and your
does.
phone. Like, I realised I just couldn't relax
Yeah.
because I was always thinking, "What's the story?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
You always like you kind of always feel like you gotta have your ear to the streets almost. Like you gotta know what's happening, you gotta know what's going on. Now that's really interesting. So like I guess from like the perspective of like someone who wants to get in touch with you, like they might have stats or data or whatever it is, like how do you like to be approached them as a journalist?
I feel like it's less about how when we approach and just if it is applicable to me, because some of the things people send me, I'm like,
Yeah, it's just
buddy,
Yeah.
this ain't good. Okay. So I think it's less about that. I think it's just more so like I can tell when someone actually researches me and like it's like, okay, she would like this, and when someone's just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna send this to her. The worst is when they email you with the wrong name. I'm like, oh, and they email you back like, oh, I'm sorry, but I know because you're pitching the way that I'm pitching.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, it happens. Yeah, so true. I think it's quite interesting when you think about it like that. I did also want to explore like the whole I guess topic of like the journalism industry and how well it is that how well it pays. So I've always said like a lot of people always say I always hear people say like I really want to be a journalist, but like it was so hard to break through and in terms of like and the pay in comparison to other industries, it just didn't really make sense. Like what's your point of view on that?
Oh, I've got a lot to say about this because it's so funny because I get like so many people coming to me about, oh, I want to be a journalist. I'm like, don't do that.
Oh no.
I'd say I got paid quite well because I was working for an American company. But the
Okay.
issue that I'm having now is because I got paid a certain salary. Basically, the salary I got paid was the salary of specific editors.
Okay.
So now, when I'm going into jobs, like for example, I applied for a job last week and they came back and they're like, oh, just to let you know, the salary is 26k for a job that I already did for 6 years. I said, I said, there's absolutely no way that I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's very, very difficult because in America, journalists get paid like they get paid like 100k or like 70k. They get paid really, really well. So yeah, I think that's another factor as to why people don't really want to get into journalism because the pay can be quite awful sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's some places like that pay you well, especially if you're a broadcast journalist, you get money. But yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think it's the same with PR as well. And I think where in PR and journalism you get caught at like certain events and stuff like that, it looks like you're getting paid way more than you are.
Yeah.
But I do think that is why those industries have always kind of been reserved for white people, because it's like, if you don't really need the money and you're just doing it for the sport, then like it's fine.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But it's like if you want to be paid your worth, sometimes
It's like,
it gets a bit
That, and also I think not really with PRs but with journalists, I feel like some of them don't mind the pay because they get to go on press trips, they get free stuff, so
They
it's
get
just
some
like,
stuff,
okay,
yeah.
cool, I get paid
The
for 8k, but like my last colleague we went to the Maldives. Like, are you really gonna complain? Like,
yeah,
That's the
it's
thing.
true.
You get a lot of
So-
free perks in the journey, isn't it?
yeah,
You
that's
do.
one thing. I don't remember the last time I paid for a concert, boy. Like,
So what's the best like perk you've had?
Oh yeah, that's a good question.
the best perk, I went to see Kendrick Lamar in a box at O2.
Oh, that's nice.
nice.
Like,
That's big.
that was sick.
That's good. What was the worst part? One that you got and you was like, what is this?
You know what? I don't actually know, you know. I feel like everything that I've got has been quite good.
Yeah.
Actually, also another cool perk. I don't know if it's partly, but yeah, Twitter sent me a shirt with my tweet on it. So you know, I was talking before
cute.
about like how I tweeted about how dating someone from the other side of London is a long distance relationship. They sent me that, so I've actually got a t-shirt
cute.
with it. So
That's
That
really
is nice.
cute.
I remember walking around and someone said, "Is that you?" I said, "Yeah."
I'm famous.
Literally.
No, that is really good. That I think the perks here. I do think you're right in terms of like the perks really do like add to it. That's why like you get a lot of journalists like if you let's say on the PR side and you work for like quite a big brand, you always get journalists reaching out. Oh, is it possible I get this or a discount on that or like a product or whatever. So it does kind of it does kind of make sense
Wait, Sam, what was your best perk
as
at working in PR?
oh as in that I've given to somebody.
No, that you've. Do you know what? Both that you've given to someone and that you've received.
We don't get perks in PR, but I've given a few nice ones.
Okay, what have you given?
Like.
I mean, Brit Awards was a perk. No, we were sitting
Oh,
front row.
sick.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you mean okay? Now I get what you mean. Okay,
Yeah.
Experience
cool.
anything.
Brits was a good perk.
That is
Yeah.
Really, really good perk because that was I got to see like quite a few of the artists that I really enjoyed, like
Yeah.
Dave and Little Sims and stuff like that. I really enjoyed them. In terms of the other side of giving, it might have to be what we did with Mastercard.
Oh, what UEFA Champions
The
League?
AirPods.
Oh,
AirPods.
yeah,
And that whole gift pack.
yeah. That was actually a really cute gift pack.
That whole gift pack. So like it was the head of the Brits. And we're working with through influencers, and we gave them like it was kind of like a gift pack of AirPods and a few other gifts. I think that was quite good because think about it, like AirPods are over 100 quid.
Yeah.
Really. So I think that's quite
And it
good.
came with a little vinyl. It was like a little personalised
Yeah.
vinyl. So we took a picture from their Instagram, got it put on the vinyl, and it had like the little soundtrack thingy at the back.
Yeah, I
It was
think
really
it was
cute.
quite nice. Yeah. I do want to. But on the topic that we just touched on, are you guys like big on change your roles every like fairly often, or what's kind of your point of view on that in terms of to get your value?
I feel like you should change a job when you stop learning. So whatever point that is, then you got a dip. I don't think you should leave so often, but
Yeah.
I think when you stop learning, then you need to go.
Do you know what? I hate being new at a job. It is just really
annoying,
it makes
yeah.
me cringe. Like I hate being new and everyone treats you like you don't know what you're doing. Which, granted, you don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I hate that whole process. But on your point, I also think, especially when you're in your 20s, like there's nothing wrong with leaving a job when you're bored. If you're like, do you know what, it's just not given anymore, then you move on. Because I feel like if you stay in the hopes that like, you know, maybe it gets better or maybe I'm gonna,
Yeah.
all that stuff. I don't know, it stumps your growth a little bit. And I mean, everyone knows that you are always going to make more leaving a company than being within your company
course.
because they don't know how much you're on at the moment. So you can, you know, inflate the numbers a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas in your own company, they know how much you're willing to work for already.
That's so true.
So
yeah.
there's only so much more you can
much.
make.
Unless you do something crazy, but that's what happens for everybody. Isn't it? Yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
quite true. Yeah, it's so true because the value, and of course, someone, I think I heard it like the other week. Actually, to be fair, it might have been last year. But someone said that like companies always have a much larger budget for hires than do for promotions. It's just how it goes. It's just business.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
like you're always gonna kind of have that. But I did want to get into your like rolling through the archives, like thing that you do on TikTok, yeah. And quite a few of them are interesting. And one that I did find quite cool was the element regarding learning your mother tongue.
Yeah.
And like, because that's something I've kind of thought about a lot because growing up for me, I lived, of course, lived in my household that were Nigerian Yoruba, but my parents didn't speak Yoruba to us.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't learn it. But obviously, in my church and stuff, we speak Yoruba in there. So you pick up some things there, but you get quite a few instances where like you just don't know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
And you're having to try to like almost like figure that out and navigate that. So from your point of view, like how have you found that experienced in your lifetime?
Yeah, it's very difficult. I literally had that yesterday. I went to a Congolese event and people were speaking Lingala, and I was like, I don't understand what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
And it's a difficult one because I feel like people shame you for not knowing your language, and it's like, well, it's not my fault. If you want to shame someone, shame my parents.
Exactly.
But it's also, I don't necessarily blame them because I think for a lot of our parents, they were in survival mode. So for them, it's very much just like provide, make sure your kids are healthy, get them into good education. So being intentional about teaching us our culture was probably at the back of their minds.
Yeah.
Which isn't like a great thing, but it's just
the reality of it,
what
innit?
happened. So yeah, now I really am motivated to learn my language because yesterday I just felt like it was a bit of a loss.
You felt like you do kind of feel a bit left out. Is it something that you're gonna be intentional about passing on to like children and
Definitely
future generations?
But it's a difficult one because in Congo there are so many languages, the same with Nigeria, but it's different because I'm from 2 tribes, so there's that, and also it's just like I'd speak to my immediate family in one language and then the rest of my family in a different language. So I feel like I'm forced to learn 3. So that's why
that's so interesting. So in the like Congo culture, like how many languages like are predominantly spoken?
There are 5 main languages in Congo, which are French, Swahili, Kokongo, Lingala.
Okay.
I don't know if it's Chiluba, but yeah. So my mum speaks 6 or 5.
Wow.
But her first language is Swahili, so I'd speak to her side of the family in Swahili or French.
Yeah.
My dad's side of the family would be Chiluba or Lingala, so it's long.
Yeah. Wow. I was quite interested because I had a friend at university. He was from Congo, and he used to speak Lingala. His friends a lot, and it always sounded quite interesting hearing that.
It's a loud language. It reminds me of Yoruba.
Yeah. Like it's very it's loud. It's interesting. Yeah, because like I do think it is a big thing, and to be fair, I think it's something that I've had to like be a bit more intentional about learning as I got older. Like okay, cool. Like I don't know. Keeping your ears open and showing, okay, or like I ask a lot of questions. So like around my dad or like around my brother, I'll ask him, oh, like what did that mean? What did that mean? Or like if something was said in church, that's quite interesting. So in my church is mostly English, but you get some people who are just conk Yoruba, innit? So when they so like when they do their like, a sermon or like a prayer session, it's gonna be Yoruba. So you do like you get a lot of that. So sometimes you just don't understand what's going on.
Exactly.
But we do try that with like translators and stuff, and we do try and it's something that's getting better, but it's an interesting thing. And of course the element that we saw when Adiola went to Nigeria and how like a lot of people were like shaming her. And I think her Yoruba was cool. Like she was like it was good. Like it was like it was clear. Yeah, to us, innit? To us, honestly, to us. But like it's still like.
And she's trying.
Someone trying, do you know what I mean?
And that's another aspect. A lot of us don't want to speak our languages because we're embarrassed. It's not going to sound good, and it won't sound good at the start.
At first, isn't it?
And that's what you have to practice, and it feels so like I'm a perfectionist. It feels so cringe getting it wrong. Getting it wrong, but that's the only way you can learn.
You feel like an amateur, innit? You feel like, oh gosh, the novice. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, it is interesting, and in regards to like the whole another element that I saw in your series was the whole conversation of like going back home, because there was like a recent like conversation I think on Twitter about how like, oh, if you can go to all the countries in Europe but you can't go back to your motherland, like you're kind of taking the piss. What's kind of your point of view on that? Because personally, like I'll be real, like, I've traveled like a fair amount and I haven't been to Nigeria yet. So like that's kind of your point of view on that.
I feel like it's so nuanced. There's so many reasons why people haven't been back home. And like for a lot of Black Brits, they come from working class communities. So a lot of us haven't had the experiences of going on holiday. So when you get your first big boy job, you want to go to Ibiza, Spain. You want to go to all these places. You don't particularly want to go back home, and I don't think that's a bad thing. And also, some people are not close to their family. So where you going to go? And some of our parents don't want to go back home. And I wouldn't go to Congo without my mum. So my mum hadn't been back to Congo for 20 years. She only went back for the first time last year. And I do want to go back this year, like as a priority, but like
you kind of like with me, of course, like you always hear about like the issues going on back home, and of course some like safety issues and so on and so forth. But I think overall, like if I were to think about it, like what is stopping me from wanting to go back to Nigeria, I would say 1, at the price, very expensive.
Very.
And 2, I'm just not sure where I'd operate because in Nigeria, like, to be fair, certain places are more like, you could say, commercialized now. So like in Lagos or in Lekki, where it's like, it will feel like you're in almost like in London, like with all the establishments and so on and so forth. But I'd feel like you got to be with people that like know the area, that know things.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot harder to plan as opposed to like a trip to like a motor or farm because you know you can just go.
Exactly, and especially if you're staying with family, it's not a holiday. It's not a
Do you know what I mean?
There's so many. It's so nuanced. So I feel like you can't really shame people, especially if, for example, you're going back to your country, but you're staying in a hotel, staying in a resort. You're not really going back home, are you?
Yeah.
Like
You're really, yeah.
So
yeah.
Like that.
I think eventually, I think it's something I will try to do soon. Though. I think have you been back to your woman before? Never.
No,
Oh wow.
So I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a matter of fact. I need to go. Yeah.
So what's been like, in your point of view anyway, like the biggest factor of you not going?
Because my mum hadn't gone.
Okay.
And obviously a safety thing as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't gonna go without my mum. So
yeah, she ain't going. I ain't going. Basically.
Yeah, like imagine I'm 10 years old. Why am I gonna go to Congo by myself?
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually been that. My mum hasn't gone, so I'm not going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. Also, like, and this is a story that I've seen quite a lot in the past year. But of course, and you touched on it as well about how the cost of living crisis is having a huge impact, of course, on everybody.
Yeah.
But more so on like single people as opposed to their coupled up counterparts.
Yeah.
That's just really interesting.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I guess it makes sense though, right?
It does, but I guess people don't talk about it because even when I was looking back at the article, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is like £7,000.
Staggering, isn't it?
Yeah, that single people pay in terms of rent and bills compared to people in relationships. Like even me just wanting to go on holiday. Like my friend wants to go to Lisbon by herself in a week in the summer. It's like £700 for a hotel. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it was interesting because when I posted that, I was seeing a lot of people saying that they are purposely dating so they can get someone to split the rent with, which then just like speeds up your process. Means you might miss loads of red flags in someone because you're just like, I just want you to move in with me.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side of that, I saw someone say that also means that people in domestically abusive relationships aren't leaving because they can't afford to leave. So it has like such a trickle-on effect on how it affects people.
That's so interesting. And like, I think the point about how like it does speed up the process. So like, do you think that like, honestly people think, wow, like life is expensive. Let me try to settle down, boy. Like,
literally. And like, luckily, I don't know about you, I live at home.
Yeah.
So I don't have that pressure of, I need to find someone to split the bills with because I live at home. I don't pay bills. I don't pay bills. So yeah, I could only imagine what it's like. The things that my friends, like how much my friends pay for bills right now is absolutely ridiculous. Like,
it's crazy right now. Yeah, it's crazy now. And if you think about it, it's actually like a privilege that like you can still be at home. Yeah. Because obviously not everybody has that I guess privilege to like have a healthy enough relationship with your parents to stay at home and just to be at home. But yeah, like you do save a lot. In my house, to be fair, I do pay some of the bills, but it's still a lot easier than being renting out in London. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I'll contribute to like food, electricity, and stuff like that. But that is literally so small compared to what I'd be paying if I was out. And yeah, you touched on an interesting point because a lot of people say, especially people of colour, they say living at home, you pay the bills in your mental health.
I see a lot of that, yeah.
And luckily, I don't do that. Like, my mum's very lenient, I would say, compared to like other people. Because I know other people are forced to move out, not because they want to, because they don't have a good relationship with their parents. So yeah. And in the element of like leniency that you touched on, like over the years, how would you say like it's changed with your parents? Because I've seen quite a big shift. Like so, like with my dad. As you get older, he doesn't let you like you just do whatever really in the house, come at home every time you want. Would you say it's a shift that you've also seen like over the years as you get older, just like a natural responsibility type of thing? Yeah, so it was just me and my mum.
Okay.
And it used to be my sister, and then she moved out. But yeah, my mum has always been like, I felt as I got older, I realised that she was way more lenient than I thought she was. I thought she was stricter when I was younger. But no, like my mum is just like. Even I was saying it yesterday, like my mum literally, whenever she leaves, I always jokingly say, I'm going to have a house party. She's like, okay. Like, I
see that as well, to be fair,
She's so chill about so many things. Like, I still think when you live at home, it still feels like not that you're a child, but there's still this aspect of this isn't my home. But it's not that deep for me to move out just yet.
Yeah,
but I would like to do it, but
it's not pressing. Yeah, it's not that deep. It's not that deep.
Yeah.
I want us to touch on reading.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know it's something that you speak on, and it's something that I also enjoy doing as well. Of course, like you've always kind of been about vocal about like reading non-fiction opposed to fiction, and your opinions on that. What would you say like is your main driver behind the statement of reading non-fiction is actually as important as reading fiction? What would you say that is your point of view in that, and like why you said that?
I feel like because a lot of people I know that only read fiction, they're very proud about the fact that they only read fiction. They kind of think they're better than people that read non-fiction.
Yeah.
Fiction is great. I read both. Like fiction is great. Like it's amazing to be able to read a story and get lost in a story. However, reading non-fiction is very important for understanding the world.
Yeah, you live in
Yeah. Understanding the world, but then also having the language to understand the world, because I think fiction allows you to understand the world, but non-fiction gives you the language to kind of articulate the way that the world is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, for example, Chimimanda's book about oh my god, I forgot, Biafra.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is called Half a Yellow Sun. That's a great introduction into Biafra, but I feel like if you want to learn the meat of Biafra, you need to read a non-fiction book or like watch a documentary so you can understand the history.
What is Biafra, by the way?
Biafra!
Biafra? I know
Civil
Biafra.
War? Igbo Civil War? Like Civil War between Igbo and Hausa people. Benin people.
And I read a book about that. What was the book called? My brother, he recommended it to me a few years ago. It was about the Igbo like tribal war.
Yeah.
So, but I read that book, but I'm not sure it was called Biafra though. But yeah.
So basically, the civil war in Nigeria and like like late 1960s.
Okay.
So yeah, it was basically just about that, and it was really interesting because that was my first introduction into it. So
yeah. It's quite interesting. I guess with me, with like fiction and non-fiction, I've always obviously my like introduction to reading was kind of non-fiction, so a lot of like self-help books, and I've enjoyed, and also I'm quite big on like the biographies. So if like someone that like I'm inspired by in whatever industry it might be, so I've read like Will Smith's biography, I've read Kevin Hart's biography, a few others as well. So I'm kind of like, I like to like hear about your journey, how you got into your space, what the challenges you came up against, how you built, how you grew. That's it's something that I really enjoy. But over the past few years, I've also dabbled in fiction as well. So you might have read this book. Have you read the book called The Other Black Girl?
Oh yeah, I love that book. People hate it.
You don't like it?
I liked it. But
I enjoyed it.
People hated it.
Have you watched the movie of it?
No.
Or the series of it, sorry.
I haven't. Have you?
Series is really good.
Really?
Series is really good. Yeah.
But yeah, but it's interesting because men tend to only read self-help books.
You guys are on us about that. How come you guys are like
lazy?
You guys kill us about this?
Yeah, because it's
what's wrong with it?
Because reading fiction, it's so obvious when a man doesn't read fiction because of the way that they see the world. Like fiction, like helps you build empathy, and I feel like if a lot more men read fiction, they'd be more empathetic because you lots worms to brains. Like you speak to a man, it's just like I can't believe that you're saying this because you guys only read 48 Laws of Power, and Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I remember when I was on Hinge. I put on my profile, do not match me if you read these books. Men got triggered. They were like, why?
That's mental, yeah.
Why? Because
that's mental.
48 Laws of Power is literally a book about how to control people. Literally how to...
I haven't read that one yet, to be fair. I don't think I will.
Yeah.
I don't think I will, to be fair.
So yeah, I need you to teach men to read fiction books.
Yeah. I think it's good to have a balance of the two because I'd say the self-help books are important. Like, I've learned so much from like books that speak about business, finances, growth, creativity. Like I really enjoy those books. But at the same time, I do like diving into a world that's like, okay, this is unknown. I don't know how this is gonna end.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I remember again I was talking to a guy and he said reading fiction is a waste of time. I said, you wouldn't say that about a movie, you wouldn't say that about a TV show. That's true. It's literally the same thing.
Yeah. That's in a different format.
But
that's so interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
So
yeah. I've always quite enjoyed it. I think it's good to find a balance. Of course, if you enjoy one more than the other, I think that's fine. But just try to find a balance and try to
I agree.
try to find a balance. I wanted to get into some Hot Topics lineup though. So Hot Topics lineup is basically like a segment where we kind of touch on a lot of the like stories going on in the world right now and kind of our point of view on it.
Yeah.
So like during the week, CEM had research, and it revealed that almost 50% of Brits have not switched or opened a new bank account in the last year, and in search of better rates, of course, isn't it? So the interest rates, because over the past year, well, in 2023, really, like a lot of banks were offering like amazing rates on like your savings accounts and so on and so forth. I wanted to ask, is that something you're like keen on, or like you think about a lot in terms of the like interest rates in my savings, or you just kind of whatever account I have is whatever I have?
Whatever I have is what I have, basically. I've had the same bank account since I was 11.
Okay.
I haven't changed. I have like 2 credit cards, but I only use one, which is my Amex. And then I have like my Monzo, and then I have my Barclays. And that's it. So I don't really think about that. Eventually, I'm trying to save, but I think it's more important to invest.
It is more important. Like the average, I'd say the average like hedge fund manager will tell you like all you really need in savings is like 10,000 or about that. All your assets beyond that, it should really be in investments and so on and so forth. But I would say like I think the interest rates things is quite interesting, because like you can really like save a lot more if you just like have your cash in like a high yield and interest rate account. So for example, with me, like in the past year, I switched over to the account again, with NatWest. They were offering like 6.7%. Oh, nice. And that's like Barclays were offering like 1.5, 1.7. I was like, you can like increase your savings by so much, and all you got to do is just open an account. So that's something that like a lot of people don't.
NatWest account.
Yeah, they have like a digital regular saver, and it's like a high yield interest account. I feel like a lot of people just don't switch because of like you think it takes a lot of time, or you just can't be bothered. Yeah. But like you do see like a lot of gains from it. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
I'll actually look into that, because I do have a NatWest account. I opened it like when I was in uni, but I've never used it.
Yeah. It's quite interesting still. How did you feel about the news about the side hustle tax? Did you know about it?
Yeah, that's absolutely disgusting. Like this government wants us to die. Like unless like it's crazy. I've used Vinted a couple times, as most people do, to sell things and to buy things. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that you can't. I now have to tell them when I've got a tenner from trainers.
So basically, what's gonna happen? Essentially, the like all the sites that you mentioned, like Vinted and so on and so forth, have to basically share information with HMRC if people are like operating as traders, so buying with the intent to sell. So the average person won't have to like, or I should say, won't be in trouble with this tax laws. But it's just more about like, why are you so like pressed about it? But I guess if you're someone who's trading and like you buy with the intent to sell, then I guess it is fair that you do encounter those tax. But if you're just a person who's shotting things that in their back garden and stuff, and it's just like,
isn't the threshold like £1,000?
Yeah. So if made over £1,000. I didn't want to ask though, are you someone who's quite big on like getting rid of your own things and for cash?
Oh, I should be. I have so many things that I don't use. Like
because
my old MacBook, I really need to sell it, but it's literally dead. I just find it's so much admin.
I'm not good enough at like all the things that I have, like even old clothes as well. I'm not good enough at that, getting rid of it.
Clothes I just give to charity if it's like, if I feel like it's not worth selling, I'll give it to charity. Or like some clothes I found that it's not that I don't want to wear it, it's that I need to get it tailored. So I'll get it tailored instead of actually selling it. But yeah, I actually love a clear out. So
yeah. It's quite interesting. There's a lot going on. I would say like sites like Vinted and a few of the other ones. What's the other big one? Depop, innit?
Depop. Yeah. Vinted, Depop, eBay.
Yeah.
The big ones.
I think I have to get a bit like better at that, like putting it out there and just make some money from it. Also, What's your thoughts on like AI? Because there was an interesting article in the FT during this week, and so there was some research, and it said that like a quarter of all CEOs around the world think that AI is gonna shrink the workforce by 5%. So essentially, a lot of jobs, well, not a lot of jobs, but like a fair amount of jobs, they expect it's gonna be shortened during this year. How do you feel about AI, like, and its like implementation in the workplace?
I feel like AI is weird, but I feel like I've only really encountered AI in terms of pictures. Like, the fake pictures they have, like, they really freak me out. But as a writer, it is obviously a bit scary because I know that there are a lot of publications that have introduced AI into the workplace just to get articles out quicker. And yeah, it's a bit strange. Like, I don't really like AI, if I'm being honest. Because I feel like it is going to replace a lot of writers' jobs because now a lot of publications just want to churn out
Story after story.
Yeah, so
that's so interesting. I think it has a few positives that I've seen from it is for like apps like what's that name? ChatGPT, I think. Yeah. Where like you can get so much information like in a matter of seconds, and it can really be helpful. It could help with like job interviews or just like research, and it's like quite often like you can use it for like a cover letter. You know, with cover letters are so jarring, like so long for no reason, right? Yeah. Like you can literally say, I'm applying for a position at here, at this role, at this title, I've done this, this and this. Create a great cover letter, and within that 5 seconds you have a sick cover letter.
I actually, you know what? I've never used ChatGPT because I just feel like it's gonna make me lazy. And I actually like writing cover letters.
Oh, you like it? Oh God, I hate cover letters.
But you know what? It's because like, I'm very much a quantity over quality person when it comes to job applying. So I don't apply for a lot. I apply for the few.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I'm so intentional with the way that I write them. Maybe I'll try it and see if it does.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's quite nice and stuff like that. And in the research, it did say that the industries that are going to be most highly impacted are media, entertainment, and banking. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I guess it's like, do you think there's an element of like, as being a part of a workforce, do you think there's an element of like having to evolve with the times, and like if you don't, you could get left behind?
Yeah, that definitely is the case, especially in journalism. I would say it's changed significantly in the past couple of years. So that's why I said like I'm a bit worried for the media landscape with the introduction of AI, because I think it's just going to replace a lot of people's jobs.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Yeah, because like, and all those jobs shortages, like, where do you end up turning to?
Exactly.
If you can't find a role, you know what I mean?
There's been so many publications that have shut down in the past week.
Yeah.
Really, really sad. So.
That's actually true, actually. In the past year, a lot of, like, you know those online-based papers that are, like, fun and lifestyle-y, like, a lot of those have had to, like, stop as well, because funding,
LA Times this week has gone. Business Insider, layoffs. The other day, I think there was 3 last week. Like, it's a lot, and it's very scary, and it's very daunting for people trying to get into the industry.
Yeah. How do you see the future of like journalism actually? I think about it.
I feel like they're just gonna I feel like people are just gonna be forced to become content creators, because that is what I'm seeing a lot of publications do. Like at my last workplace, they were getting us to go on camera and speak about articles because everything is going video vertical. I see other publications doing the same thing. So
that's true.
I don't know if I feel that positively about journalism right now. Like I want it to be resketched.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
Yeah,
I've seen a big shift. So the Athletic is like a football-based newspaper. They literally have like on their TikTok, it's literally a page of where the writers will speak about all the reports that they've written, and to be fair, it's quite an engaging way. And I would say I think is like adapting with the times. Like we're in a very like video first and social first time right now, so they're just like adapting with it.
It's just gonna make people lazy and not read and go back to the article because they just
heard it.
They've heard it in 2 minutes, and it just takes away the nuance of it.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't like it because it's like there's content creators and then there's journalists, and I feel like now there is a conflation of the two.
That is interesting because you know when like you think about, it's really submerged now because it's like you could say, for example, like a lot of presenters and influencers now are kind of doing the role of a journalism, like edging into it slightly. And to be fair, I guess it's an open field for people to go, and if you enjoy something, you enjoy something, right? But like, I do feel like the quote unquote journalists will get the short end of the stick in that divide.
Yeah. So it's not a coincidence that I'm on TikTok right now. It's not a coincidence because I can already see where it's heading, and I feel like you said, if you don't jump on it,
you get ahead of the game, innit?
Yeah, you'll get behind.
Yeah. But I do like enjoy that though, because I feel like I would say the positive of it is that, you know, when you read an article by a journalist, there's only so much of the journalist's points of views and opinions that you really get, because it's only 400, 500, 800 words. Whereas, you know, when you see them on camera and they speak about it and they share their points of views, you get a lot more from the reporter, and allows you to build a better, I would say, the rapport, you know, with the person who wrote that story. So I would say that element of it, you do get the, you do enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's what I like. Even now that I'm doing my series, I think it's nice for people because they're actually seeing what the face looks like behind the article.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's big.
Yeah,
I think
that's quite good.
I think it also helps with like your personal brand as well, in terms of like, okay, like, you kind of, you build a catalogue of like, okay, this is what I've done, this is where like I've done. So I think it is quite important still. Are there any great TV shows that you've watched recently?
Oh, a few actually. What have I been watching? Succession.
Okay, what's that about?
It's basically about a family. A family that own a media corporation.
Okay.
And like the dad of the kids of the family basically trying to get into the media corporation and blah 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 blah.
Okay.
So on the second season of that, what else I'm watching? The Bear, which is about cooking and a chef.
Okay.
I love reality TV. So I'm watching Married to Medicine, which is about,
I hate reality TV. Oh god.
oh my goodness, I love it.
Did you watch Love Island?
I used to.
Okay, yeah, okay,
it's
fair
too
play.
many now. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
too many.
It's too frequent.
Married to Medicine, which is about doctors' wives
Okay.
in America, very interesting. Real Housewives of everything.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Real Housewives of no, not Atlanta. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Beverly Hills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
How about
play.
you?
Right now, I am so. Oh my god! So I recently watched a documentary on Netflix. It was about World War II.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
All right.
Like I remember World War II bad. Like I remember my ancient history bad right now, man.
I mean, you're gonna get sent to war soon.
Oh yeah!
They're gonna
Oh yeah!
draft
You
you
see
off.
that? Oh god! You
They're
think,
gonna draft you off.
you think that's actually real, or you think that's come on you?
Who has time? They don't have money. Like,
Yeah.
They've got better things we focus on to be fighting. So
Honestly,
plain.
yeah. But the World War II documentary was really good because how they did it, they all the footage of World War II, they like modernized it and put in like it made it like fresh, and you got the like sense of how it actually was at the time. I really enjoyed it, man. It was really good. I think it was stories from World War II or from the front lines of World War II. Really, really good. Like,
I love documentaries.
And you hear like a lot of the stories of people who actually fought in the war, families in the war, and like I'm thinking like, wow, people who fought in 1940s are obviously a lot of the interviews might have been from earlier, and they used it for the documentary, of course. But it's like, wow, like imagine you fought in World War II and like you're still around. Like this is dope to hear about that. Have you got like any family members who are like quite old who may have like experienced some like big events in the past, or not really? I don't from my side, but
Yeah, not on my side. I don't think so. I feel like everyone luckily has avoided all of that.
yeah. It's good.
Yeah, actually no. My dad's dad helped write letters to the Belgian government to get us to help Congo get independence. So that's quite interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's really interesting. Now that on the topic of age, actually, like, and me and my friends, we sometimes we talk about this as well. What age would you like to live up to in terms of like that age? Was like I'm fine with going that age.
100.
100. You want to go 100?
Yeah.
I don't want to go 100, man.
Really?
100's too much.
No, there's some adults who are 100 years old that are still alive and kicking. Like I feel like 105 is just a bit too much, but 100.
Because I don't know, nowadays like people who are like in their like mid 80s, it's kind of like life is a bit.
If they retire here, if you go home,
Yeah, true.
So
that's so true. You know, I think here like people who get to like late 70s, 80s, like you start to feel the toe of it. Like
Yeah.
you see the toe of it on them. It just, I guess, nature of the country you live in, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now it's quite interesting. A new the segment that we're gonna introduce before we wrap up, is there anybody? It could be a creative, a fellow writer, a business owner, anything that you'd like to see on this sofa for the next episode. It could be anybody. It could be business owner, someone who's interested, an artist that you'd like to see on the sofa for like a upcoming episode before we wrap up.
My friend Ope, he owns a magazine called The Floor. He's quite interesting.
Ooh.
So you should interview him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, from The Floor. Okay. And you have the magazine. What does it talk about? I guess we'll ask him that, innit?
Yeah. Ask him.
We'll ask him that. But thank you for your time for coming on. It was a great episode to really get into the industry, how it is, and of course all the other areas that we explored as well. Is there any social that you like to let's get at?
Yeah, I'm the same everywhere basically. Habiba Katsha Twitter, Habiba Katsha TikTok, Habcat on Instagram.
Nice. Well, of course, guys, if you enjoyed that episode, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Of course, we have more episodes coming through. We've got more interesting conversations to have. Until next time, man, have a blessed week. Peace.